Hi, this is Neil from Neil's Han Dynasty. When I first started this channel, and I still don't have a clue what I'm doing. Obviously, I didn't have a clue what I'm doing. I'd have no equipment, never done this stuff. I thought it'd be hard. I was like, man, what are you going to bring to the table, Neil, that no one else is bringing to the table? And then I realized, well, it's not that hard. There's a lot of crazy crap going on in the world today, and most of it's due to the clown show that, well, you'll see. Here it is.
President comes of age in West Asia. For years, America has been a key player in the region. Presidential visits here have been a constant. So all eyes are on Joe Biden as he embarks on his maiden visit to West Asia. He is heading to Israel, the West Bank, and finally Saudi Arabia. But this will not be an easy visit. Biden currently faces a kaleidoscope of challenges here. Let's break them down for you one by one. Number one, Israel's collapsed government. Biden got the idea of a presidential visit to West Asia when he spoke to Bennett over the phone in April. So it's almost ironical that Bennett will not be the one greeting him. Instead, taking his place is Israel's caretaker Prime Minister Yair Lapid, because Israel's coalition government has collapsed. Israel is heading for its fifth election since 2019. This is especially bad news for the Biden administration because they were betting big on the Bennett government. Number two, Israel-Arab cooperation. Joe Biden will become the first US president to fly directly from Israel to Saudi Arabia. And what makes this flight path historic is the fact that the two countries have not normalized ties yet. But this is a reflection of the region's shifting politics. Currently, no one expects Riyadh and Tel Aviv to immediately normalize ties, but the trip could end up kicking off that process. So why exactly does Israel and Saudi Arabia, why do they want to work together? Because they want to counter Iran, which brings us to the third challenge, countering Iran's rising influence in the region. The threat of Iran is likely to be the top focus for Biden's meetings. Israel views Iran as its enemy number one. As for Riyadh and Tehran, they have been engaged in a West Asian Cold War for years. The key question is finding the best way to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. And this comes as efforts to revive the 2015 nuclear deal hit a stalemate. So Israel may be building ties with the Arab world, but what about...
All right, I got to stop it right there for a second. If I recall correctly, one of the first things the Biden administration did was allow a doorway for Iran to continue. I'm not going to say they okayed them making nuclear missiles. I don't believe they did, but they didn't not do that. And they also allowed them to further the enrichment of uranium, I believe, don't hold me to that, restrictions that former administrations before this one put in place. So that is a demon of his own creation. Now we'll go with, there's 5 reasons he's going to have a problem. Let's go back to number 4 here.
About Palestine. And that brings us to the fourth challenge, the Israel-Palestine conflict. Currently, there has been no progress in resolving the conflict. Biden is expected to take a short trip to Bethlehem where he is likely to meet the Palestinian president. But domestic politics and support for Israel constrains Joe Biden. There is not much that he can offer at the moment. As for Abbas himself, he is too weak and too unpopular to take a stance in the region. This brings us to the main and final challenge. That's crude diplomacy. Biden may say oil is not the primary reason for his Saudi Arabia trip, but we all know that it is. Since his presidential campaign, Biden urged to turn Riyadh into a pariah nation. And now, after a year in the White House, he is visiting the same country, this time to strengthen ties. So why is Washington pivoting so hard right now? The Russian invasion has thrown up new geopolitical realities. The US needs Saudi Arabia for oil again. Riyadh needs Washington for defense and security again. Currently, the US president has a huge domestic liability. Gas prices are surging in his country, prices that Saudi Arabia could help lower. Also, the Crown Prince is young. He is likely to lead the kingdom for decades, so a reconciliation had to happen at some point. But that's not all. Another partnership will take place when Biden is in West Asia. A virtual summit of the I2U2 grouping, also called the West Asian Quad. This includes the leaders of Israel, India, and the UAE. It might seem like an unlikely collection of countries, but there are hopes for productive collaboration. The initiative intends to bring together Israeli technology, UAE capital, and Indian skills.
Now, if you're looking for investment opportunity, that last one she just mentioned with Israeli technology, AE money, and India's production facilities, that might be something to look to invest in, because that sounds like a winning combination if they can work out their issues. I appreciate you all taking your time. Buy some silver and some platinum. Get some extra food supplies that you buy when you go to buy stuff. I'm not suggesting go buy MREs or anything like that and stuff you don't eat. Just get an extra of what you do eat. Think about, getting some seeds, heirloom seeds, and try and find a spot in your yard or your neighbor's yard, as I did previous videos. Try and grow some stuff, because in the mid-1940s, around World War II time, 40% of America was fed by Victory Gardens. So if we are going to have food issues, we can actually help ourselves if we start now. Remember to be kind, helpful, and grateful, and have yourself a great day.